Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. We've been getting some seriously thought-provoking stuff from you guys lately, and today we're going to dive deep into one that really stood out. How to human.
Yeah, part 9 specifically, focusing on time and energy.
Exactly. Your time and energy are valuable. That's the title. And we're going to unpack this, try to extract the real gems from this resource, and see if we can help you, the listener, get a better handle on these two crucial elements of, well, just life, right? So you're not constantly feeling overwhelmed and like you're, spinning your wheels.
Absolutely. The idea here isn't to give you some kind of rigid formula for perfect living.
No, not at all.
It's more about understanding these essential skills and mindsets that can lead to, a more balanced and adaptable way of living. It's like figuring out the underlying mechanics that make the whole system work better.
Right, like getting to those core principles that just make everything flow smoother. So one thing that really jumps out from this How to Human guide is this emphasis on time and energy. It really drives home the point that time, well, once it's gone, it's gone. There's no getting it back.
Exactly. And it even goes beyond just saying it's limited. It's the feeling you get when you look back and think, man, I wasted so much time on that,
Yeah.
That really brings home its value.
Yeah, the emotional weight of wasted time is a powerful reminder. And energy, while we can recharge, it's still a finite resource in a given day, and how we use it directly affects everything else we do.
It impacts how we feel, what we achieve, everything.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and get a sense of this how to human idea in general. What's the big picture philosophy behind it? What is it trying to accomplish?
Well, one thing I appreciate is how it acknowledges that being human is messy. It's not trying to paint this picture of some idealized version of ourselves or give a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right, because that just doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. So it's more about understanding these core skills and perspectives that help us build a life that feels, meaningful and sustainable in our own individual way. And it's comprehensive, too. It tries to equip us with the tools for navigating all these different facets of life,
Yeah.
Our interactions, our communication, understanding ourselves better, and, of course, how we deal with our time and energy, as we're talking about today.
And it acknowledges these sort of internal tensions, right? Like we crave stability, but also need change. We want to be connected, but also value independence. It's this constant push and pull.
Absolutely. And, without consciously reflecting on these opposing forces, it's so easy to get stuck, becoming too rigid in our routines or maybe too impulsive, focusing so much on others that we forget about ourselves or becoming too isolated.
So this How to Human guide, it's not about erasing these paradoxes, right?
Right. It's more about giving you the tools to navigate them, to make choices that align with what you actually want, to be adaptable when things change, which they inevitably do, and ultimately to find that sense of fulfillment despite this constant tension.
Okay, so why is this whole perspective important? Why might someone find this How to Human guide valuable in today's world?
Well, think about it this way. We get training for so many things in life, right? Our jobs, specific skills, all that. But where do we learn the fundamental skills for just being human, for navigating the complexities of life itself?
Yeah, good point.
Society often pushes productivity, achievements, all that, sometimes at the expense of our own well-being.
It's like we can learn advanced math, but not how to have a tough conversation with a loved one or something, right?
Exactly. Things like finding balance, communicating effectively, embracing failures, and growing from them, those are crucial for our own happiness, our relationships, our success at work, just our overall sense of being, well, okay. And this guide, it's about grounding ourselves in those core principles that help us think critically and act intentionally, rather than just being reactive to whatever life throws at us.
So it's about taking control, making conscious choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now let's focus on part 9. Your time and energy are valuable. What's the main message here? What's it trying to tell us?
At its core, it's this crucial reminder that both time and energy, they're finite resources. Like we were talking about earlier, time is unique. Once it's spent, it's gone. You can earn more money, get more stuff, but you can't get back a single second. And energy, sure, you can replenish it, but in a day, you have a limited amount. So managing these two effectively, it means being deliberate, intentional about how we choose to spend our time and where we focus our energy.
So being aware of where those resources are going in our day-to-day lives.
Exactly. It's in those small, everyday choices. How we structure our routine, the boundaries we set, what we commit to. Every obligation, every yes we give, it either adds to our reserves or, and let's be honest, more often than not, takes away from them.
Right, and it highlights the difference between those who are mindful of this and those who, well, aren't. That feeling of being constantly overwhelmed.
Yeah, you can really see the difference. Someone who chooses their commitments carefully versus someone who feels like they're being pulled in a million directions.
Mhm.
And that often leads to feeling overworked, but not really achieving what truly matters to them.
Okay, so let's talk about the personal implications. Why is this emphasis on the value of time and energy so important for us as individuals? What are the potential downsides of not recognizing this?
Well, the document doesn't sugarcoat it. It straight up says that undervaluing your time and energy is a recipe for burnout, stress, and feeling, just generally dissatisfied with life. It's like when we say yes to things out of obligation or without thinking about the cost,
Right.
we end up spreading ourselves too thin. And that means we can only give a fraction of our attention to things that actually matter to us. So we're not fully present, and our efforts are diluted, like trying to pour a full glass of water from a nearly empty pitcher, right? You get a few drops, that's it.
Great analogy. I was thinking like spreading butter too thin, like on too much bread. You just get this thin, unsatisfying smear.
Exactly. And then you have boundaries, or lack thereof. Without clear boundaries, those energy drains, they just keep chipping away.
Oh.
Whether it's distractions from our devices, people who leave us feeling drained, or just getting bogged down in tasks that don't really align with our priorities. It's like death by a thousand cuts, You don't realize how much it's affecting you until you're just completely drained.
But the flip side, the positive side of all this, it's pretty empowering, right? Taking control of these resources, it leads to better outcomes.
Absolutely. When we're intentional with our time and energy, we become more present in whatever we're doing, more engaged with the people around us, and ultimately more effective at what we set out to do. It's about focusing our resources strategically, not trying to do everything at once.
So working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all great in theory, but how do we actually make it happen? How do we cultivate the skill of valuing and managing our time and energy in our day-to-day lives?
Well, the document outlines some really practical steps.
Good, let's hear them.
So step one, the most fundamental one, is to define your priorities. It straight up asks you, what really matters to you? Like really, what brings you a sense of fulfillment? And this isn't just a casual question. This requires some real soul searching. Because once you have a clearer picture of your values and your goals, you can start aligning your time and energy with them instead of just reacting to external pressures. It's like having a navigation system for your life. Without a destination, how do you know which way to go?
It's true. It's like having a compass, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know where your true north is, you'll just wander around aimlessly.
Yeah, you'll end up somewhere.
Yeah.
But will it be where you actually want it to be? So once you have that direction, the next crucial step is learning to say no. The document reframes saying no in a really helpful way. It's not about being selfish or unhelpful. It's about being intentional and protecting your limited resources. Every yes to something that's not a priority is automatically a no to something that is. It's understanding the opportunity cost of every commitment.
So every time we say yes to one thing, we're saying no to something else, even if it's just time for ourselves or time for our true priorities.
Exactly. Then comes identifying energy drains. And this one is really about self-awareness. Like the document suggests you actually track where your energy goes throughout the day, which might sound a bit much, but it can be really illuminating. Are there specific tasks, certain people, or even habits that consistently leave you feeling drained without giving you any real value or satisfaction in return? Once you can pinpoint those drains, you can actively work to minimize them, or if possible, cut them out completely.
That takes honesty, right? Being honest with ourselves about what's actually draining us. It's easy to blame external factors, but sometimes it's our own patterns that are the problem.
It's so true. And it's ongoing work, too. It's not a one-time thing. Then you have time blocking. This is a more practical strategy. It's about scheduling your day in a way that accounts for your natural energy levels.
Yeah.
So reserving those peak focus hours for the most demanding tasks and allowing for periods of lower intensity work or just rest, which can really boost your overall effectiveness and prevent burnout.
Working with our natural rhythms instead of against them.
Exactly. And then something I think we can all relate to, eliminate time wasters. The document specifically calls out things like excessive social media, unnecessary meetings, aimless browsing online. These are the sneaky ones because they feel like little breaks,
Wow.
but they add up, and they drain both our time and our attention. Being mindful of where our time actually goes is key to reclaiming it. It's like a small leak in a dam, might not seem like much, but over time it can cause a huge loss of a precious resource.
It's about recognizing those activities that just give us a quick distraction but don't really add any lasting value.
Yeah, like that instant gratification that leaves us feeling empty later.
Yeah.
And finally, and this is so important, protect your rest. Energy isn't just about how much we get done, it's about sustainability over the long term. Prioritizing enough sleep, regular exercise, and downtime. Those aren't luxuries, they're essential. We can't consistently perform at our best if we're running on empty.
Right, we have to recharge to be able to give our best.
Exactly.
Okay, those are some great actionable steps. But I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to the challenges of actually implementing them. The document touches on some common obstacles.
It does. One of the big ones is the guilt that comes with setting boundaries. Many of us have been raised to put others first, so saying no can feel really uncomfortable, even selfish. But the document points out, constantly putting others' needs ahead of our own well-being leads to resentment and exhaustion. So reframing boundaries is a way to show up better for what truly matters. That's key to overcoming this guilt. You can't help others if you're running on empty yourself.
It's not selfish, it's self-care, and that ultimately allows us to be better for the people and things that truly matter to us.
Exactly. Another common challenge is just poor time awareness. Like, we underestimate how long things will take, or we overschedule ourselves without really understanding our actual capacity. So the document suggests time tracking, like literally keeping a log of how you spend your day. It can be incredibly eye-opening because you get concrete data, you see patterns, you see where you're misallocating your time, and you can adjust.
Like creating a budget for your time, right? You can't manage your money if you don't know where it's going. Same goes for time.
Exactly. And then, of course, distractions and interruptions. Constant battle in our hyper-connected world.
So creating intentional boundaries is key. Turning off notifications, having dedicated times for email or social media, communicating your need for uninterrupted time to others. These seem like small things, but they make a huge difference in our ability to focus and protect our energy. It's like creating those little pockets of focused time in our day.
Little islands of concentration in a sea of noise.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, so to bring this all to life a little bit, the document gives some real-world examples. One that really stood out to me was Warren Buffett's 25 to 5 rule. Can you explain how that works and how it connects to all this?
Yeah, so Buffett's rule is so powerful because it's so simple. He says, write down your top 25 goals, career, life, whatever. Then circle the top 5, the most important ones. And here's the key. Actively avoid the other 20. The idea is, if you spread your energy and focus too thin across all 25, you're much less likely to achieve excellence in any of them. So true prioritization isn't just about choosing what's important, it's also choosing what not to focus on. A great example of saying no, even to things that might seem valuable.
It's really about focusing our attention for maximum impact.
Right. And the document also gives this contrasting personal example. Someone who is always busy, always rushing, but never truly present, versus someone who's more intentional, fully engaged, and understands the importance of rest. It makes you think, which approach leads to a more fulfilling and effective life? And it asks you directly, which one resonates more with your own experience? Which is a powerful question to consider.
A good reality check.
Sure.
And then, to really drive this home, the document asks these direct reflection questions. These are designed to make us think deeply about our own habits, how we relate to our time and energy.
And those questions are so good for taking these concepts and making them personal. So the first one is, are you spending your time on things that truly align with your values and goals? It's a direct challenge. Are you using your most valuable resource in a way that actually moves you towards what you want in life?
And then, what drains your energy the most and how can you minimize those drains? Again, identifying those things that leave us feeling depleted without really giving us much back.
Right. And then a question that gets into our emotional response to boundaries. Do you feel guilty when setting boundaries? And if so, why? Understanding where that guilt comes from is the first step to overcoming it and creating healthier boundaries.
Then there's the practical one. Where do you waste the most time in your daily routine? This is where that time tracking exercise can be really helpful.
It gives you that data. And finally, a call to action. What's one small change you can make today to better protect your time and energy? It shows that you don't have to do everything at once. Small, consistent adjustments can lead to big improvements over time.
It's about those little steps in the right direction.
Exactly.
Okay, so this has been a really insightful look into part 9 of How to Human. The main takeaway, it sums it all up perfectly.
It does. It says, your time and energy are your most precious resources. Spend them on what truly matters, not on what simply demands your attention.
So powerful. And on that note, here's a final thought for you to ponder as you go about your day. Think about all this and ask yourself, what's one area of your life where being more intentional with your time or energy could make the biggest positive impact for you right now?
That's a great question to sit with. And remember, it's about exploration and experimentation. Try making small changes in your day-to-day life and see what happens. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See you then.